It's time for another episode of the Daily Blogcast for Internet Marketing, where every day we find all the best industry blog posts and turn them into something you can listen to, because reading is hard. Now, here are your hosts, Mark and Brian.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 74 of the Daily Blogcast for Internet Marketing.
Yes.
All right. It's Theraflu Thursday.
You better stay way over there. You sicko.
This little box is going to get you sick. That's what happens whenever you go to any type of
That's what happens when body
events.
starts slapping.
Yeah.
That's what Tone Loki used to say.
Oh yeah, wow thing.
That's what happens when body starts slapping.
Yeah. I went to a indoor trampoline place over the weekend.
All right.
Oh yeah, we're not supposed to do this at all.
I don't know.
And I was looking around that place. I'm
Nobody
like,
cares.
someone said, "Oh, I'm not feeling too good. I'm going to take it easy. I feel a little sick." And then all of a sudden I looked around the room and I was like, it's all germs. This whole place is a big germ place.
What, were you there as an adult or with your kids or what?
Yeah, I was there for my kid's birthday party.
Oh, I see.
So
what is it? There's just a bunch of trampolines everywhere?
Yeah, they're all like put together and they have like different sections where you could just like bounce off of walls or do flips and crazy stuff.
Wow.
And then they also have like a dodgeball area. That one looked totally fun because people were like wailing the ball at people. And then they have like places you could play basketball. It's kind of interesting. It's cool. I guess they're popping up all over the place. And by the looks of things, they're making tons of money.
Yeah. You say that wherever you go.
Yeah, I know.
Look at all the money they're making.
Look at all
Isn't
the money
it
they're
Tequila Thursday?
Yeah, it is. I should just do
I'm gonna do a shot.
tequila instead of. Oh man, that was like a juggle. Oh my god, I can't even
Guzzle. Yeah. It must be your flu is why you can't talk, right?
It's totally. I blame it on the flu.
Because the rest of the shows, you talk really well.
Very eloquently.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This little bit of news is from Search Engine Roundtable.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Schwartz.
Mm-hmm. He was just here nude the other day.
I know. Signs of more Google algorithm updates early this week. And so, of course, talk is going around again on the forums and stuff. And Webmaster World, there's a thread in there discussing a lot of changes, possible update. Just happened over this past weekend. And one person left a comment. Another update happened 100%. Expect a bumpy few days. If you recover, great. If not, nothing you could do. I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
Check your money terms. See if the organics have all but disappeared below ads and image results. I'm not really sure if I understand that. Okay. Check your money terms.
I'm glad you read it.
See if the organics.
To everyone else, even though you didn't understand
have all but disappeared below ads and image results. Oh, okay. So you're just not showing up in the organic, I think is what he's saying.
Why didn't they just say that?
I don't know. My money is they have used Google Shopping. My money is that they've used Google Shopping data to spot the money terms. If your site relies on them, kiss goodbye to organic traffic. And then he said that different tools are showing some activity. Mozcast, Algoroo, SERPS, SERP metrics, higher than normal activity. So that's on that one. And then I have another little quick bit. I got an email the other day about Google Glass do's and don'ts.
Mm-hmm.
And this one just talks about one of the things that they spoke about in their don'ts is from Geekosystems from Dan Van Winkle. Google literally tells Glass explorers not to be glass holes in new guidelines. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah, totally. It says, Google has a tough job in making Google Glass appeal to the masses. People have all kinds of fears about privacy and looking like a dork. To help Glass's image, they sent out a set of guidelines to teach their explorers not to be glass holes. The guide has a series of helpful do's and don'ts to help explorers be the best representatives they can be of Google Glass to the general public. And I read through all of them and I was going to read them all, but then I was like, there's such a small number of Google Glass owners, probably maybe none in our audience.
So are you saying that the post would be irrelevant to our audience?
Yeah.
Because that hasn't stopped you before.
Yeah, that's true. But I know Barry Schwartz wears them.
Yeah.
So
there's that name again. That's all he wears sometimes when he's at your house.
I bet. It said, still the best part is when Google invents the term glasshole for people who don't understand how to function on a basic level with new technology in modern society.
Mm-hmm.
And this is pretty funny. This is what they wrote. They said, don't be creepy or rude, aka a glasshole. Respect others, and if they have a question about your glass, don't get snappy. Be polite and explain what glass does, and remember, a quick demo can go a long way. In places where cell phone cameras aren't allowed, the same rules apply to glass. If you're asked to turn your phone off, turn glass off as well. Breaking the rules or being rude will not get businesses excited about glass and will ruin it for other explorers.
They call them explorers?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could be an explorer for only $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
I just got, I guess it's invite only.
Mm-hmm.
But Barry's allowed to invite a bunch of people. So he invited me. No, not personally. he just put a blog post up about it.
I saw like a bead of sweat show up on your forehead in anticipation as you were aroused.
It said, don't be creepy or rude is pretty solid advice for just everyday life.
He invited me. Wow.
He didn't.
That's way too much.
All right. So that's it in news.
Cool.
In the news.
Cool. So this is from pando.com, and I thought this was a pretty cool post. Why copycats are the best thing to happen to your company.
Cool.
Yeah. So no matter where you went to high school, I'm willing to bet there was one constant. When it came to taking a test, eyes had the frequent habit of wandering where they shouldn't have.
No.
Maybe you were the target, or maybe you were the one taking a peek. Regardless, the end result was that it came time to turn in the test. Someone had taken advantage of someone else's hard work and called it their own.
Jerks.
I thought you were going to say, wah.
Yeah. Wah. He copied off me.
In Silicon Valley, the reward for trailblazing with true innovation is often a trail of copycat businesses following close behind, seeking to profit from your idea. Sometimes the copycat is dead on arrival. Sometimes it pays to be a copycat. And they said, see Germany's infamous Samwer brothers. Do you know who they are? More to come. I actually looked that up.
All right.
So, and sometimes
in-depth research.
Sometimes copycats go to court. And he said, see Samsung. And I think they were referring to that thing. Remember when they copied Apple's UI from the iOS?
Yeah, for the phone. And then they totally got killed on that one.
And remember, didn't you tell me that they paid it all with pennies or something?
No, I didn't tell you.
It was something ridiculous. Like they were sour grapes and they paid off everything they wanted to in pennies or something. That's like truckloads of pennies. Anyway, he said, as someone who has had this happen multiple times to my company, I am no stranger to this form of innovation, but those experiences have helped me look at this much maligned trend in a new light and shaped an opinion that many will likely disagree with. Copycat businesses should be welcomed. After all, what is a copycat business other than evidence that you've created a solution that taps into and services a real need?
Yeah.
That's the old...
True.
That's the old imitation is the sincerest form of flattery thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But he said, take Snapchat, the Valley's darling du jour, which has set the precedent for disposable instant messaging. In late 2012, Facebook launched Facebook Poke, a messaging app possessing an eerily similar feature to Snapchat's signature disappearing act. A year later, after Poke didn't pan out, came the $3 billion offer.
Wow.
But Facebook actually ended up being its own worst enemy here. Their cloning attempt had the opposite effect on Snapchat. Instead of feeling intimidated, it increased Snapchat's confidence in what they'd built. They now knew that their DNA wasn't just something others could transplant and call their own. It's kind of interesting, right?
Totally.
I still would have taken the $3 billion though.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you're listening to this in late 2014 or early 2015, Snapchat was a service that yeah, exactly,
that they could have made billions of dollars on, but they didn't.
That just dried up.
Anyway, he said only time will tell if they made the right move, but it underscores the importance of concentrating on the road ahead, not who's lurking in your rearview mirror. Copycats have no visibility to the inner workings of your company or what you have in store. No matter what, you'll be ahead of the curve because they can only replicate what you show them. And this, I thought this was interesting on a business level, but also like in affiliate marketing and campaigns, there's lots of people getting down about how people copy their campaigns. I mean, it's been going on forever.
Right.
And it seems to me the people that are really successful, sure, they don't like hand people campaigns, but they don't really sweat it too much.
Yeah.
Because like they just said, they can't see all the stuff that went into it. They just see the results. And they can make money by just copying stuff. I mean,
right.
I'll be honest, I have, and I'm sure everyone has on some level, on some occasion.
Yeah.
But unless you can really add something to it, you're going to be like a one-trick pony kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not innovative, coming up with those ideas on your own, you're going to always be catching it at the end.
Right. So he says, when surveying your market, be careful not to confuse copycats with competitors. Ask, does the company in consideration strike fear into your heart, or does it rely on the inspiration of others, including you, to innovate? Remember, a copycat is a pale imitation of your company. A competitor is an innovator that challenges your market share in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
A concept and a business model can be mimicked. Execution can't. He says competition is indeed healthy. It serves as a reminder that you're not the only one playing in the sandbox. To stay nimble, some have even taken the unconventional approach of assisting in the creation of copycat companies.
Huh.
So listen to this one. A famous example is the story of Taco Bell founder Glenn Bell. He actually just died like a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
Starting a direct competitor by leasing a taco stand to one of his employees. In Southern California's emerging fast food market in the 1950s, hamburgers were the menu item of choice peddled by restaurants we now know as McDonald's and Carl's Jr. Fast food tacos were new to many Americans, so new in fact that very few even knew how to pronounce taco.
Huh.
The simple presence of a competitor helped educate consumers and build the market faster for both companies. That taco stand next door, maybe you've heard of it, it's called Del Taco.
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So he said, all this isn't to say that you should let blatant imitators bleed your company dry or patent trolls stifle your innovation. Be sure to build defensibility into your brand. And don't forget that sometimes plagiarism is illegal and you need to tell the teacher.
Teacher.
Ultimately, the strategy that wins out is to be your own architect. Losing sleep over copycats stealing your business model and making reactive decisions to squash them lets them win. Worse, it taxes your team in their efforts to make something truly great. So I thought that was pretty cool. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought that was good.
It was way better than your articles, huh?
No.
Anyway, so they mentioned the Samwer brothers, and I had to look this up. So this is from a post also on Pando, humbling this shameless Samwer brothers. And she writes, I've never met the Samwer brothers, so this may be unfair, but they just piss me off to no end. I didn't know who they were, but now I do. They've cloned Zappos, Groupon, Airbnb, and now Pinterest with a shamelessly named Pinspire.
Wow.
Bear in mind, I've actually defended copycat companies around the world. Frequently, so-called clones are tailored so much to their local markets that they're no more derivative of the original than Google was from Excite or Facebook was from Friendster.
Yeah.
But the Samwer brothers are the worst kind of copycats. They flip from shameless ripoff to shameless ripoff, browbeating staff and acting like gods of the universe. Worse, they've been rewarded making a pile of money from Groupon's acquisition of their German version clone.
Wow.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's the worst kind of entrepreneur. There's no commitment or belief in what they're building. They're just shallow profit seekers. She says, but bear in mind, these guys aren't beating a Groupon or a Zappos in the US. They are quickly moving to rip them off in Europe. They're exploiting the global base of early adopters by getting to people sooner than a startup logically can. In the case of many Chinese copycats, the insane competition and rapid iteration frequently yields companies that are locally very different. But the Samwers seem to have a lock on German talent and funding in a way no one does in China.
Huh.
Anyway, I didn't even know about that, but that's pretty crazy. So all they do is look at all these big companies, rip them off, throw it in the German market, which I think is still the largest in Europe.
Yeah.
80, what do they have? Like, I don't know how many million people.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Man, that is a crazy business model.
Yeah.
I mean, just totally
it's mean.
Copying.
Mean.
Jerks. Because, I mean, there's Facebook and Pinterest and all that stuff in other countries, right?
I don't know.
I mean, I imagine, well, I guess they would go after a new startup, like so when Facebook is only available in the United States, then they would copycat it and people would adopt it in Germany. And so when Facebook finally gets around to translating or offering it in German as well, they've already lost a fair amount of market share.
Yeah. I mean,
Man,
if it sticks. I mean, like she said, I guess Groupon ended up buying those guys out.
Yeah.
Which is kind of whack.
Wow.
I mean, they got rewarded. Me neither.
Jerks. Isn't Groupon owned by Google?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were. Or maybe that was one of those crazy ones where they turned down some crazy billion amount of money offer. They said, nope, we're not going to do it. So research that. Let me know. Okay.
I'll get right on it, boss.
So I have a follow-up article, and this was just posted yesterday by Pat Flynn over at Smart Passive Income. Pat Flynn. And
this is almost going to be the Pat Flynn show soon. Or actually, I should say the Barry Schwartz.
Yeah. Barry is almost mentioned every single day.
We should rename the show Talking About Barry.
Yep. And we have excellent sponsorship opportunities right now since we don't have a gigantic audience. So Barry, if you really want to get Search Engine Roundtable out there, we know you're struggling with that.
He totally needs our help.
Reach out.
Poor guy.
We'll give you a great deal.
Poor guy.
Okay, so the title of his post is How I Increased My Email Subscriptions by 315% and the Small Quick Thing That Made It Happen.
Oh.
So he's going into those link baity type what comes next articles, titles.
And the one tiny thing I couldn't believe that made the hugest difference.
Yeah, and that's why he titled it that way, is because yesterday I read the post about, that 5 tips. What was it? Do you remember what it was titled?
I don't listen to your part of the show.
Yeah, great.
I just read a book when I'm here.
Anyhow, he had 5 great tips.
I play around on YouTube.
That you could do quickly and see
playing
big change. Yeah, I know you were. So it sort of went viral. He said it didn't get millions of page views or land me on the front page of Reddit, but after 7 days, it was shared over 1,000 times. It produced a huge traffic spike, and 231 people took the time to leave a comment.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty huge. Email subscriptions increased by 315%.
So that is the one that generated all the comments, or
that one post. And he said these are he received 109 emails, and they were all from first-time visitors who not only subscribed to my email list but took the time to visit my contact form or reply to a follow-up email to say thank you and tell me that they wanted more. So that's pretty crazy. And then, so he wrote this, and he decided to incorporate a little story into this blog post. And it was how the time that he stayed up 48 hours straight. And I guess he became addicted to World of Warcraft.
Oh,
remember we used to play that?
Yeah, but wait a minute though. Not World of Warcraft. We used to play Warcraft.
Oh, that's right. We didn't.
It was way less nerdy.
Yeah, World of Warcraft is like online, huge.
Yeah, it's
multiplayer.
It's role playing, and you're like, I am a wizard and stuff like that. Remember when we used to play Warcraft?
Yeah,
we were beating on people with like swords and stuff.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
were cool.
Yeah, right.
We were not pretending to be the wizard or the orc or anybody else.
Yeah, so he was doing this in college. He stayed up he put in 12 to 15 hours a day on the game.
What level paladin was he?
He said, I once stayed up 48 hours straight as cans of Monster and Red Bull. Oh, no. I thought that was a clan that he was in. Cans of Monster and Red Bull.
Paladin level 24.
He doesn't have it in there. But
that's what she said.
Okay, and the reason that he became so addicted to it was because as you play the game, you get little unlocks. So you get rewarded for doing little actions constantly. And he kind of incorporated this into his business plan, that a small quick win helps people associate reward with whatever helped to produce it.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he learned that from Charles Duhigg's best-selling book, The Power of Habit. So he said that the last post generated a ton of new and excited subscribers because it was chock full of ways to produce a small, quick win. That was the strategy behind the post. There was 5 of them, and I highlighted that each would only take 5 minutes to implement in the title. And of course, people who took action experienced the quick win. And he had a couple messages that he received back on the people that saw instant results. And he said, we all want our readers and listeners to go big, to change their lives for the better from the value that we provide for them over time. However, if you want to change someone's life, give them something that changes their day first. So that was kind of a cool idea. I better reread that.
Yeah, I was about to say that again. And then did Pat write this, or did someone else?
No, he wrote it.
What's the quote?
If you want to change somebody's life, give them something that changes their day first. So focus on the day, not just the life. So like a nice quick win, and then you'll have them hooked, you know. I always try to do that when I'm teaching appraisers things, is that we will teach them something that they'll see results instantly right in the beginning, because then they're like, yeah, I know this stuff works. And then we'll give them like harder and harder tasks to complete.
We do that too. And when David and I have done master classes and stuff, we've done the same thing. We start off with the campaigns where people can
get
see results right away. Yeah,
you got to do that. And so I said, sometime in the near future, well, he wants you to try it out. This is his call of action. Sometime in the near future, create content that helps your audience experience a small, quick win. It doesn't have to be a 5. It doesn't have to be 5. It could just be 1. Let them know it won't take very long. And if possible, create a step-by-step outline or a video that will make it even quicker to achieve. Then give people an opportunity to subscribe. And in many cases, you'll make an impression that is the start to many more experiences. Oh my God. See, now I'm starting to see fuzzy. I tell you, I'm sick. No. Okay, more experiences with you and your site down the road, and you'll grow your list at the same time. And a final quick tip.
We like to say tip over here, not tick.
Final quick tip. The best quick wins to share are ones that come from your own experiences. It's one thing to create tips off the top of your head and share those, but it's another to have also put them into action yourself.
Yeah.
Your audience will take notice when you do and follow your lead even more. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Thanks, Pat.
That was sweet.
I love you, man.
That was way too much.
All right. Darn it.
That was Brian, by the way. People get us confused.
Yeah.
I want this very clear.
We better do it every 5 episodes.
I know.
This is Brian, the sick guy that can't talk.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Whatever.
So what else you got? How much time do we have left? We have 7 minutes. Do you have anything worth 7 minutes?
Man, I have a huge article that I don't think I could get through it in 7 minutes. Do you want to take a sick day? Call it early?
No. I have
Darn it.
I think I can read this one. So check it out. This is going to be, we're going to actually learn some technology stuff.
All right.
So this is, I wanted to read this a while ago, but there's never the opportune time, but I'm going to read it today. So it's from marketingland.com. What the F is a cookie anyway? Do you really know or just think you do?
I only think I know.
Yeah. That's a good answer.
I want to say that it is probably text, like an XML type file, and it has like a date in there and a little bit of information.
Where is it stored? You can be vague. I mean,
it could be in your the cache of your browser.
Okay. Well, so it's on you in your browser.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah, very good. So it says this one's column was inspired by a very brave CMO who bluntly asked during a recent conversation, "What the F is a cookie anyway?" This particular gent is smart. He controls a marketing budget of over $30 million a year, a reasonable enough portion of which is digital. His question stems from the many ways our industry talks about cookies, which is often incorrectly, and the peripheral terms that have become synonymous: RTB, big data, programmatic, pixel. He thought he used to know the answer to his own question, but found he actually didn't. And interestingly, the answers his team gave him around the room were inconsistent from each other.
Wow.
So what is a cookie? A cookie is actually a small text file that sits on your computer in a folder dedicated to cookies. The cookie file contains information about you, which could be a simple ID number or many other points of data. A cookie can only be understood by the company that put it there because they are encrypted, making them private. A cookie can be used for remembering who you are when you log into a website, for analytics, and for advertising, among other things. A cookie is also specific to the browser. So if you have a Google cookie on your computer from logging in through Firefox, it will not log you in when you use Chrome because every browser manages its own cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense so far?
Totally. Now I'm hungry for cookies.
Have you learned anything so far?
No, I knew all that.
Wow.
I know I'm smart.
You're super smart. A cookie can be deleted by the user, most likely using the functionality within the browser itself, but some people do this manually or install third-party software such as antivirus to do it for them regularly.
Wah.
So now we're going to move on to first-party or third-party cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the difference between those?
I'm not positive on those. No.
So you're going to learn stuff here now.
Yeah.
And
I'm
if
ready.
you say you don't, you have lied.
Okay.
To everyone, all 12 people. First party or third party. A first party is one that comes from the same site you are currently visiting. For example, if you're on the Bank of America website and you log in,
no. Okay. Sorry.
you will receive a cookie from bankofamerica.com. That is a first party cookie because it comes from the domain you're browsing.
And the third party cookie is like if I'm dropping a cookie for Amazon or something from my website.
Yes.
Is that a third party cookie?
That's actually called cookie stuffing because you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, that's right. Darn
But
okay.
Nice try.
Okay. I don't do that.
I think I hear the Amazon police at the door. Now, let's say the bank also wants to understand the number of their visitors to their site. They might install a package such as Google Analytics. Though the cookie isn't from the site, it is still a first-party cookie because it's being set by the site itself, not by Google.
Okay.
But what if there are ads running on the site that are served by an ad server like DoubleClick or via an ad exchange?
Yeah.
When either of those parties set a cookie on your computer to track an impression or click on an ad, that's considered a third-party cookie because it's not coming from the same domain that's displayed in the URL window of your browser.
All right, that makes
so
sense.
you are correct. If you were to cookie stuff, which is totally illegal,
yeah.
if you were to cookie stuff and iframe like an Amazon affiliate link, it would drop a third-party cookie.
Yeah,
you're correct. Right. But you're actually not supposed to do that. You're supposed to direct the person to click on a link to go to Amazon.
Oh yeah,
in a non-shady way.
I heard that there's plugins for doing those link shorteners and stuff, like link to URL or pretty link, stuff like that, that if you don't do the settings right, you could put in your Amazon code to send your visitors over to Amazon and maybe get a donation like through someone buying something over there. But it'll put it in an iframe and then Amazon will think you're dropping cookies and they'll totally boot you from their affiliate program. So you don't want to do that.
Okay.
Quick tip.
So, okay. So you're clear on first and third party?
Yeah.
Server side or client side? This may sound techie, but in reality, it refers to where the data is kept about the individual. In a server side situation, also called sessions, everything we know about the individual is kept back on our servers and can be accessed anytime we want. All that's stored on the user's machine is a session ID, which can then be connected to the additional data on the advertiser's servers. Does that make sense?
Yes, got it.
When something is client-side, it means all of the data points are stored in the cookie itself on the person's machine. And so they can only be looked at when we actually see that person again.
Yeah.
Most companies in the space now use server-side cookies, aka sessions, because they allow us to add or edit that data even when we're not interacting with that person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and client data could also be deleted.
That's correct. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Nice takeaway. Nice takeaway. A cookie or a pixel. This is one of my pet peeves. The two terms have become interchangeable, yet actually mean very different things. The expression, can we put a cookie on your site? Or we'll just drop a pixel when they convert are both wrong. A pixel is the code that goes on the page, a tiny, usually 1x1 image file that requires a call back to the server to render.
Yeah.
A cookie is the small file that the server then places or drops on the individual's device or reads back if one already exists after the call is made back to the server. You install a pixel on your site, not a cookie, and the pixel drops a cookie, not a pixel.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay. Now you have to repeat it.
Well,
Never mind. You can't do it. I can already tell. So flash cookies. A few years back, there was a company that became annoyed with people deleting their cookies. After all, if the cookie got deleted, they lost their data. So they created what's called a flash cookie to cheat the system. And he said, technically, this is called a local shared object. A flash cookie is also a small file like a real cookie, but because it was flash, it was stored in another folder that the browser doesn't control. When someone deletes their cookies through the browser, a flash cookie stays in place, keeping the tracking data in place. Sneaky.
Wow.
There's also something referred to as a respawning flash cookie, which is when a flash file sits on the device and puts a real cookie in the real cookie folder, but every time it gets deleted, it recreates it. So did you get that part?
No.
It's a respawning flash cookie. So the flash stuff looks for the existence of the regular cookie. And if someone deleted it, it recreates it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there's actually something you can look up called Ever Cookie, which talks a lot about this stuff. It's pretty funny.
Man. It's making me hungry.
Exactly. So anyway, it said, why don't site owners want cookies? It's a debatable problem. Historically, the people responsible for a site worried about page load times, and pixels often impacted that. With better bandwidth, better engineering, and something called a CDN, which is a content delivery network, to speed up pixel delivery, this is rarely a problem. In addition, marketers and publishers are becoming aware that some unscrupulous companies use pixels to steal an audience or to gather data about an audience. Data is a valuable commodity, and they are right to protect it. For example, if I was a publisher that allowed another company to pixel my site, that company now has a cookie on all my visitors and can target those individuals themselves without the need to pay me. Suddenly, as a publisher, my advertisers don't need to use me as often, and I lose revenue. So he goes on to talk about fingerprinting. And fingerprinting in the online world means looking at data such as an individual's browser type, OS, resolution, color palette, locations, fonts, etc., and then matching them against the profile the next time the visitor is spotted. This data is already being shared when a device connects, but it's needed to help web pages display properly. The more data you analyze, the more accurate the technique. With potential legislation to come and browsers like Safari blocking cookies, fingerprinting may become more common. So did you get that part?
Yeah, but I don't understand where that information is stored.
You could store it. You can send it back to the server, right? So so you have a little bit of code on the page that looks at all this stuff, like the browser type, the IP address, fonts installed,
and then
color,
tries to match it up.
Yeah,
and say, this is that person.
Oh yeah, I've seen this guy before based on these data points.
Yeah,
that's fingerprinting. So even if they delete their cookies or whatever,
right,
you can still match it up the other way.
Yeah.
So, and then he finally says the last thing, the funny thing about opting out, if an individual chooses to not be tracked, they don't have to be. There are plenty of tools that can be installed that help them do this easily. And there are also initiatives that promote this, such as About Ads. Ironically, many opt-out processes are reliant on the individual having an opt-out cookie placed in their browser. So if they delete their cookies, they have effectively opted back in.
Oh, wow.
There are now plugins and movements to correct this. Anyway, this is a really good article. It's marketing land, and if it was hard to follow while I was reading and Brian was telling his jokes, I recommend you visit our site in the show notes, dailyblogcast.net, show number 74, because it's worth a read, and you might have to read it a couple times for some of these if they're new to you. But it's always good as a marketer to kind of have a grasp on this. Yeah. You don't have to learn how to write cookies or save sessions or any of that stuff, but it's good to know how it sort of works.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be faced with this and someone's going to ask you a question and you want to be smart.
Exactly. I mean, everyone always just assumes it has to do with privacy. So they're like, I don't want those cookies, when it might not really matter. So,
and if anybody says, how do they do that fingerprinting stuff? You just always say computers.
Computers.
That's what I say. That's what I say when I don't know how anything works.
Computers
it's computers. So the final thing before we go, we're out of time. I wanted to give a shout out to AF Playbook. David's got a new podcast out. He interviewed Charles Ngo.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we read some stuff. Well, I listened to half of it. Did you listen to the whole thing?
Only the first half.
Okay. So the first half was pretty good, and I'm sure it'll also be good on the second half, but check it out, fplaybook.com/blog, and he's got a link to it, and he interviews Charles Ngo, which we've read his articles and posts on the show before.
Yeah.
And probably will continue to do so.
Yeah, I liked Charles Ngo's his tips and stuff that he was giving during the interview.
Yeah.
Like, that's
a lot of it's about like productivity and doing stuff better and more streamlined. But he goes into his background too, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the background. I really like the background part. All right, guys. Well, that's another episode of the Daily Blogcast. We will catch you tomorrow.
See ya.
You've been listening to the Daily Blogcast for Internet Marketing.
Visit our site, dailyblogcast.net, where you can find show notes and links to all of the blogs mentioned in this episode.
While you're there, make sure to sign up to our free newsletter so you're notified of new episodes and get a bunch of goodies delivered directly to your inbox.
Don't forget, we need your support, so do us a favor and log into iTunes and leave a rating and a review. It only takes a minute and they'll really help us out. See you tomorrow.
See ya!